a los organizadores por la invitación y sobre todo gracias a mis amigos Dani and Fernando. And I apologize, I'm going to speak in English, but now you've heard my Spanish, I think it's probably, you'll agree that it's better to rely on the professional services of these very good interpreters. So I'm going to talk about the Napa Truffle Festival. And to start off with, I want to mention that actually in America, there's a whole industry based around domestic truffles. So they're based around domestic truffle species. And there are festivals there celebrating these species. They're very different to our European truffles, but that does exist. However, the bulk of cultivation activities are based around European truffle species. This is an example of a tuber melanosporum orchard in California. So you can see a mix of species and trees relatively widely spaced. And then there's also cultivation of tuberostivum. So this is in North Carolina in quite a marginal climate, and they're cultivating tuberostivum. So most of the cultivation is melanosporum, but there's also tuberostivum. And there's some nice successes. So this was just a few weeks ago. I was on this gentleman's orchard in Napa, close to the festival. And these are 4-year-old English oak trees, and he produced a good amount of tuber melanosporum. So there's some nice, it's a Mediterranean climate where these are cultivated, and there's some nice success stories. In terms of America, these are the areas, these trees represent areas with a suitable climate for cultivation of European truffles. And this band down here behind me, this represents California and Oregon, and the Truffle Festival is based right in the middle of there. So it's a good location because there's Mediterranean-type climates and very favorable for cultivation of European truffle species. And from cultivation, of course, there's peripheral activities which come with that. And there's a growing number of truffle hunters. So we have here, this is Bill and Linnell Collins, who harvest truffles in California and do a really good job. So there's this growing industry. And with that comes these celebratory activities like the Truffle Festival. So the Truffle Festival I'm talking about is the biggest one in America for European species. We established it back in 2010, and it's based in Napa Valley, California. And for those of you who don't know Napa Valley, Napa is a very famous region in America, maybe not outside of America, but in America it's a very famous region for their wines. They have very expensive wines, very highly regarded wines by Americans. And it's also a very affluent area. It has a Mediterranean-like climate. And we host the festival here. This is a spa hotel. And we heard earlier someone was talking about maybe combining truffle activities with spa hotels and things like this. And this is what we do here. So it's based around this spa hotel, which also has a Michelin star restaurant hosted by Ken Frank. And it runs every January. So we ran it just 3 weeks ago. I'm just going to go through very briefly the different events we have at the festival, because we only have 10 minutes, so I'll just go through it quite quickly, just to give you an idea of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So it runs over 3 days. We have a series of events. These are all on the website in great detail, actually. We have Friday is aimed at serious truffle growers and people who want to really get into the science of not just truffle growing, but also truffle management and truffle harvesting. And then on Saturday, we have a more fun event. And then on Sunday, it's more about eating. So a big component of the Truffle Festival are our chefs. So what we did from the very start is we invited chefs from around the world. And every year we have 4 to 6 guest chefs come in. This year we had Julio from Umbria, Roland Passot, originally from France, now based in California, and Rafael Lanetta. And these are an example of some of the chefs we've had in the past, but there's many, many more. We do this for 2 reasons. One is it brings in punters. People want to come and visit and eat and visit the festival because there's chefs there they wouldn't normally have access to. But also it aligns tuber melanosporum with high-end dining and with that very aspirational kind of living. So the chefs are a big component for us. So on the first day, we have this very in-depth conference day, really, where we have presentations on all these topics. Then we have lunch in the restaurant, in the hotel, which is a truffle lunch, as you'd expect, hosted by Ken Frank here. And then we go out and we visit an orchard. and we, when we're doing this visit, it's always at a winery, so it's always an orchard attached to a winery, so we can combine wines and truffles, and that's really important for this whole event, and I'll describe that in a little bit more detail. Here you can see Alana McGee from the Truffle Dog Company, and most of these people here have got a glass of wine in their hand. We give them wine as they arrive. The truffle trees are in front of the camera, unfortunately, you can't see them. Behind there are the vines, and we have an interactive demo where they see the dogs working and these kind of things. So that's Friday. And then on Saturday, we start off with we have a more informal event. So Friday's for serious people, really. Saturday is more aimed at those who want to come and enjoy and have fun, and it's a little bit lighter. So we start off the day, we have a full day of events, in fact, and it's compared by Liam here, who's he's called the CBS Foodie Guy. So he's a celebrity in the US based around food, and he brings a lot of light entertainment and relief to the day. And we have people arrive at 9 o'clock, similar to some of the events here. They're given a glass of champagne, they have food, truffle canapes, and we have a fun interactive session. And we also have a competition where we put truffles in glasses. They get to smell all different truffle species and products. And then afterwards, we do it blind, and they have to guess what's what. And it's normally a very fun, interactive session. And then after that, we have a winery lunch. So this is an image of the session. So you can see here they've all got wine, and we have a series of light-hearted talks. It's a good, fun event. And then afterwards, we go to a winery. And these wineries in Napa, I should mention this, because Napa's an affluent area with these highly regarded wines. The wineries are huge. They're great big infrastructure with their own kitchens, with their own tasting rooms, with huge caves. They're a really very good resource. So for the festival, we pair with 2 different wineries every year, and we change that. So we build a big awareness of the wines there, and we're also linking the truffles to these high-quality wines. We also run a mushroom foray over the Saturday and the Sunday. This is a very light-hearted event, a smaller one. Each of these events people can buy tickets for individually. So they don't go to the whole festival, they go to individual events. And this one, they have truffle canapes when they arrive. The foray isn't for truffles, but we see these as the mushrooms as a gateway drug to get them into truffles, so it brings in more people to come and experience truffles. Then in the evening on the Saturday, we have a truffle dinner. This is very, very popular. It normally sells out within 24 hours of the tickets going on sale. We have the invited chefs. They cook an individual course, and it's all held at this Michelin star restaurant. And then on the final day, we have mainly a truffle lunch. So we have another lunch at one of these wineries, and these truffle lunches are multi-course affairs. So you might have 6, 7 courses, lots of wine, cooking demonstrations by the chefs. So there's some interaction, truffle dog demonstrations, but it's really a celebration of the gastronomy. And this is an image of one of the wineries we were at this year called Artesa, which you can't quite see because it's cloaked in grass, but it's a huge visitor center and really impressive facilities. So, yeah, and here's an example of some of the cooking demos we have, and it's surrounded by wine vats and where the wine's being produced. And then the final thing to mention about the whole festival, so that's what happens on the individual days, but running across all 3 days, there's a big food court or farmer's market, a food market in Napa near the hotel. And for those 3 days, we take it over. So we provide truffles to the vendors. They put on truffle pizzas, truffle sushi, truffle oysters, lots of different truffle dishes. And this is unticketed. It's completely open to the public, so people can turn up, eat truffles, buy truffles, experience it in a sort of looser form, and we even have truffle dog demos and more cooking demonstrations, but it's very informal, and this helps to boost our numbers and bring in more people to experience truffles. Okay. So in summary, we have chefs, food producers, wineries, food vendors, cultivators, and the public all interacting with the festival. But a key thing for us is they're all interacting with each other as well. And we think this is really important to bring everyone together to stimulate discussions, stimulate rural socio-economic development, really, to try and do what we can to further the message. In terms of attendance, in the ticketed events, we have about 600 people come through. That's capped. We can't get any bigger than that. For example, the restaurant on the Saturday has a capacity of 100 people, and each of the wineries has a capacity. But then with the truffle marketplace, we estimate we have about 1,000 people come through the truffle marketplace. I thought we were doing quite good, but then I saw the presentation in Alba where you have 1.5 million people, so I think we need to reevaluate. This was going to be we can go to the next one. That was going to be a small video of the festival, but you can go into the website here, napatrufflefestival.com, and you can see some audio-visual stuff of the festival, and it's a very rich website. There's lots of information on there. And then I just want to close as well by saying that's not the only truffle tourism activity we're involved in. This is an aerial image of a site we're setting up in Scotland, which should open this year, hopefully. So we're setting up a small truffle centre there. This field has now been ploughed and it's currently being planted. It's going to have open demonstration orchards. We're having a truffle museum and a truffle lab, and there will be a series of mycotourism events there. So there we go. I think that's just in 10 minutes. So thank you for listening. Cool.
Muchas gracias, Paul.